So, Tulsi Gabbard, friend of India, someone who has looked very favorably upon India-US relations, has now been appointed by Trump as the next director of national intelligence. But what exactly does that mean? What is the DNI? What is Tulsi Gabbard's role going to be? Well, as the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard becomes the executive head of the US intelligence community, which basically means she is the executive head of 18 US intelligence agencies, including the CIA. She personally provides a daily classified brief to the president, distilling and collating crucial intelligence matters. She also, if the president chooses so, becomes principal advisor to the president and the National Security Council, as also the Homeland Security Department, and she directs intelligence sharing with allies, and that's where India will very, very likely benefit. But the obvious question is, well, she's the first Hindu lawmaker in US Congress. She is someone who has professed a strong love for spirituality and the India Connect. But is Tulsi Gabbard really good for India? Consider the following points for you. Number one, she has always had, like you just saw in that report, a very hard stand against Islamist terrorism. She has an avowed aggressive stand on Pakistan-sponsored terror. She's brought it up repeatedly in US Congress. She may rethink the use of Gurpatwant Singh Pannu type assets against India for any reason. We don't know yet, but possibly there could be some kind of a rethink because this was the Biden administration's project against India. She's always been an advocate of strong India-US relations, so that weighs in India's favor, and she could strengthen Quad intelligence sharing between the United States, India, Australia, and Japan as a counterbalance to China, and will boost Indian intelligence on China specifically, given what's happening on the border. Greater intelligence sharing in the maritime domain, in the Indian Ocean, especially in the wake of the Iran-Israel conflict at this point of time, becomes of crucial importance. My colleague Rohit Sharma spoke with Tulsi Gabbard on what next for the US. Here's what she said.
Congressman, thank you so much for joining us and talking to us today.
Thank you.
Just out of curiosity, Congressman, you were a Democrat and you ran a presidential campaign in 2020, and now you have endorsed President Trump. What made you change your decision and becoming, endorsing President Trump, and what was the reason for you to do so?
Oh, first of all, I left the Democrat Party a few years ago because today's Democrat Party is controlled and led by this elitist cabal of warmongers who are undermining our freedom, fundamentally censoring free speech, undermining the rule of law and our democratic republic. There are many examples that I could give you. I wrote a book explaining in great detail why I left the Democrat Party. It's called For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. And in this election, the choice was very clear for me in why I endorsed President Trump over Vice President Kamala Harris. It is because of those fundamental rights and freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution and the words that our founders had for us in this country as Americans, our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Under Vice President Harris over these past 4 years, along with Joe Biden, they have undermined our freedom and continue to do so. They have weaponized government entities to go after their political opponents. I've personally experienced political retaliation by this administration, putting me on a domestic terror watch list called Quiet Skies just one day after I did an interview criticizing Kamala Harris's record as vice president and talking to the American people about the dangerous consequences of a Kamala Harris presidency. They have ruined our economy, increased the cost of living. We're seeing increased crime, open borders, over tens of millions of illegal immigrants coming across our borders, many of them actually violent convicted criminals coming from other countries. And on a foreign policy front, they have embroiled us in multiple wars in different parts of the world and have pushed us to the brink of World War III and closer to nuclear war than we ever have been before. On every account, the choice is clear that President Trump in this election is our best hope as a country to get back on that path where we can look to a future of peace and freedom and prosperity for all Americans.
You also mentioned about border. The border has been a big issue. I think immigration is dominating, the election cycle this year. What would be President Trump's policy? I know he's talked about, securing the border. There are a lot of Indian immigrants, who obviously feel that, though nobody talks about their plight. And why should an Indian immigrant voter vote for President Trump versus President Harris? Because President Harris, one of the things that's going for her is that she's half Indian. So, I mean, anything that you would like to say to immigrants who should vote for President Trump?
I would encourage Indian immigrants who are here in our country and contributing to our economy, starting businesses, innovating in technology, to not fall into the Kamala Harris trap of identity politics and vote based on ethnicity. I would encourage them to ask the Kamala Harris campaign or do their research. What has Kamala Harris, as someone whose mother immigrated from India, what has she done for Indian Americans today? What has she done for Indian immigrants here in our country? I know the short answer to that. The short answer to that is nothing. The same issues and challenges with green cards, with children, Indian immigrants who are here on green cards and who have kids who turn 18 and now are facing a situation where they don't have any access to legal status and an extremely broken legal immigration system. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have not done a single thing to address these very real and longstanding issues that the Indian American and Indian immigrant communities face here. President Trump has talked very openly about different ideas, such as, immigrants who come here and go to school should immediately be issued a green card when they graduate from university here, because it's in our best interest as a country to be able to retain the kind of talent and innovation and opportunity that many immigrants come here to seek, rather than providing people with skills and capabilities and then sending them back to their home country. President Trump has talked about recognizing the growth and the benefit that the United States and our economy gains from many immigrants from different parts of the world, but especially and including Indian immigrants. So I have no doubt that President Trump sees the opportunity here and will do all that he can in order to address these longstanding issues and fix what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have broken